The essence of this project is actually that we started from an extraordinary historical patrimony. Railway station, goods that came here, that were stored here, so it all had to be protected. That's why there are walls around the whole thing, and it was like all, people weren't supposed to come in here, because here it was dangerous, because trains were going in and coming, and so the walls are heritage, we want to respect them, but at the same time you have to be inviting and say, come in, and creating connections to the neighborhood. I'm Kris, I'm the CEO of Extensa. Extensa is a real estate development company, and actually we have a particular focus. It's on the extension of cities. So this is how the site was built as one logistical platform 100 years ago. Eventually we bought it in several transactions. We started a lot of conversations and roundtables with stakeholders, with the neighbors, of course. And because of the size of it all and the impact that the new construction would have on the neighborhood, this took quite a long time, about 15 years, to get to an official zoning plan. And we're now in the process of executing that zoning plan, as I would very much like to show you. We are here in the former goods railway station. Here all the goods arrived and were redistributed over Brussels and Belgium. It's a building that covers 4 hectares. So it's filling up with the office side, and then now we're working on the more retail side, food and beverage and shops and concept stores and all that. These are all apartments that are under construction. There will be like 1,000 here, and there will be another 1,000 in that area. And then the rest of the area is for children to play, and then there starts the park. This is Park Farm, and you see it's a greenhouse. It has community gardens. It has a community table with plants growing into it. So this is a community initiative that started out as a temporary project. It was like a competition for who has the best idea. And this organization, Park Farm, which is very local, won the competition, and then it made it through the first season. Then it was supposed to go or to disappear, but it got so much traction from the neighborhood and from people wanted to care for it, that they asked us if they could just stay here, and we thought it's fantastic. It's fantastic because, as you see on all the other buildings, there's a lot of graffiti and youngsters break things, and here nothing ever happens. It's like there's a social control because it's theirs, and there's a respect for what it is. A good example of what a group of volunteers can achieve. So it brings a lot of quality and value to this area. There's no specific example of where the neighborhood or the locals actually influence directly our master plan, but of course they also are represented by the politicians, the local politicians. Some of them live here in the neighborhood, so they're very vocal about what the neighborhood and their voters want. And so through the politicians, of course, there has been an impact. Maybe maybe there is an example. Now I come to think of it, that is that in the final master plan we had a bit more building land foreseen, which was actually generally accepted. But at the last moment, really, there was some pressure from the neighborhood to make the park a little bit bigger and to cancel like a building plot. And that, I think, was a very concrete example of where at the last moment, when the politicians have to decide, there is some impact from the locals, from the people that live around it, to have just this couple of thousand square meters more green. Obviously, in any kind of this massive investment and redevelopment in a site, there's also the issue of gentrification. Gentrification means that actually by doing new developments, the rest of the area gets more expensive, and people that have less means are actually forced out of the neighborhood. that's an inevitable consequence of what we're doing. And so together with the government, we try to manage the process. It's not all bad, because people that maybe invested in a small house or a small residential property in the neighborhood will also see their value increase. So some will benefit from the process and others might not. So what is really important here is that we are building a community, and we are going to, this is, if you come to live here, this will change your life, because you will have other amenities. And yes, you're in the city of Brussels, city center. This is 1000 Brussels. But you will have more green, you will have exciting old buildings that have all kinds of amenities and excitement and food and beverage in there. And so we think that this project should have an impact on others, on ourselves, on others, on our lives, on the world. And so if we use this former logistical multimodal distribution platform as a distribution platform for new ideas, for new behaviors, then I think we will have succeeded.